Hey, shalom, y'all. Bashim Yashabak to my brothers. Y'all Shamal Thug, Bashim Yashab. Peace and love, Shatal on the ball coming to you live. Once again, Isupk Qadash class. The Holy Language, the Holy Tongue. Last week, we ended class off, of course, though, with a few words put on the board, of course, though. So I'll give you a moment to look at these. Hopefully, if you've done your homework, you know what I'm saying, you already know what these words are, you know what they mean, of course. But we're going to start off with going over these, of course. Then we're going to jump into the alphabet and then go over a couple more words, of course, though, so that we can strengthen ourselves as, you know, we build up, you know, our vocabulary. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know what I'm saying? The same way that you go to school, you sit down, you study, you take tests, you focus on the material. Same thing that you need to be doing for this class, of course, though. We've already, you know, spoke to you about, you know, getting the alphabet list. So if you do not have this, you know, reach out to us, let us know. Isupk On top of that, there's materials that can help you along the way. So one of those is the Hebrew English dictionary, of course. The concise lexicon to the Bible, link to biblical languages, and of course, the biblical Hebrew textbook. All right, it's a workbook, of course, you know, that we can also utilize so that we can go through all that stuff. So I'm gonna give you a few moments, you know, to look at what's up here on the screen, of course. See what you come up with. All right. Also, if you have any questions, go ahead and type in your questions. That way we can, you know, address any questions that you may have. Tomorrow is the Sabbath service, so we go over precepts for the Sabbath. We read it in the Hebrew, though, so if you have not got yourself a Tanakh, go ahead and order that. You can get it, you know what I'm saying, from our website. Go to isupk.com. You can look it up underneath the list of study materials. All this information can be found underneath the list of study materials. This is just one of those things that's up there. All right. So, you know, do your due diligence. So the same way that you study for school, you know, this is your history, your heritage, who you are as a people, so-called Black sensitive Americans. You know, with enough of our brothers and sisters, you know, study this, you know, maybe, you know what I'm saying, we'll get our brothers and sisters to stop doing that nonsense, saying things like shalom. You know, it's not shalom. It's not Bokatav, you know what I'm saying, like Bokatav, you know what I'm saying, like that Yiddish, you know. So we get the understanding of what the Sabbath is, we get the understanding of all these words. So. So one of the first things to even go over is how to even read these words, right? We know and understand that when it comes down to the Hebrew, when it comes down to the alphabet, of course, I don't want to say backwards, but it's in reverse. You understand? It's in reverse. For in the English, you read left to right. So most of y'all who, if you never, you know, saw the English or never knew the Hebrew, you would try to read these characters, right? These are not letters, these are characters. These characters, you would look at it going from this way to that way. It's actually from right to left, all right? The Hebrew is read from right to left, and that's what we should do. Slide. Take the time to study it from right to left. Also, as we go through and we look at these words, if you were to pull up, let me see if I can share my screen with y'all in just a moment. The blue letter Bible. All right. You can pull up the blue letter Bible, of course, and you can also see these. So this first one right here, this is Strong's 398. Strong's 398. So it's 398. Strong's 398. This first letter. This is the Assyrian, this is the ancient. So I'm writing this down in the Assyrian, then I'm writing the ancient. Also, as we're going over this, you should be able to lock it. Right in the law sometimes. It's that. So anytime we read right to left, right to left, Strong 398. All right. We'll read this, of course, though. It's read from left to right. In the English, these are just the letters. The definition of this word eats. All right. This is one of the 100 most common verbs. One of the most 100 common verbs. This word here, akal, which is to eat. Now, I'm going to share my screen with you real quick, though. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Genesis. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 16. So, precepts that you can follow along, of course, for future. We're going to go to Genesis 2, 16. All right, for tonight, for this precept, of course. And here we go. Share screen. If you're reading this, of course, this is Genesis chapter 2, verse 16. We're reading on the blue letter Bible. All right. Genesis 2:16. So like, Wayatazawa, Yahweh, Elohim, Al, Ha'adam, La'amar, Makal, Aitaza, it's like Aitaza, Hagawa, Akal, Da'akal. So the word that we're looking and focusing on is this one right here, which is Akal. So as we go through, the precept reads, and the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. Right? So you see the Akal, right? And then you see the Akal. It's like it. So do not be, don't be thrown off by that. As you can read, you can look at the specific Akal, which is to eat. Strong H398. All right. And if we scroll over it, of course, this is to eat. The root is the Akal. It's like if we were to, in the precept, it gives you the specifics. So we'll know that this is a verb. This is also the root as well too. And going back to even just this first word right here, as we read it, it goes Waya, that's the W, that's the Y, which is and. But in this sentence, of course, though, it's saying and the Lord. So it's making reference specifically to the Most High, right? So, and the Lord. So we know that the Y is typically and, of course. And we'll get that a little bit later, of course. Though. But look in here, 2:16 is to eat. So we should be doing this right here. Position. To follow along, I'm going to turn. There you go. You should be able to see that now. So, Strong's 398. Akal. This is the Assyrian. This is the ancient. This is the, if you were reading after you wrote it down in the English, just eat. Is to eat, the action word. All right, so you can take this precept down, Genesis chapter 2, verse 16, add it, you know what I'm saying, into words that we have gone over. All right. Another one that we can also follow or get into. Just put a check mark against that one. All right. This next word, which is Strong's 7-1. All right, strong 7-1-2-2. Can't see that has that little. This is the Syrian. This is the ancient. So that's the Qua, that's the Ra, that's the Ha, Qua, Ra, Ha, or Qua, Ra. You gotta take real close to that. I'm just trying to pull this up. Slack it. Right now, I'm just trying to pull this up with the blue letter right now. Okay, so also this right here could be qua a. This could also be qua a, which qua a is actually the strong 7-1-2-2. This right here can be used sort of interchangeably though, which is the Strong's H. (735). All right, Strong H 735. So lock you with that. So Quara A, which is they usually say it's like these trees. Also has a derivative of Quara Ra, right? So it can get, you know what I'm saying, a little confusing, of course, though. But Quara A, this one right here, which is to me, all right, and that's of course Quara A, of course. Ha. This is to me, Strong 7-1-2-2. And this is Quara Ha, which is like the cold. But from our 100 most common words, it is to me. It is to me. So we have to be careful with that, of course, because when we, and I'll share the screen with y'all so y'all can see. Y'all can see this. All right. So if you were to do a type in for Quara Ha, right? It's the Strong's 7135, which is a variation of the word for Ra, right? Water. What we'll see here, even if we were to type in meat, right? Meat. So if we look at Genesis 2:18, now we're making help meat. That's not the same Quara A, right? And I can prove that to you real quick. So we'll just click on the tools. It's going to give you to the Hebrew, and we see that meat, right? This is that, and help me, which is not the same, right? Then we have Quara A, which is, for example, in King Sodom, and the king of Sodom went to me, and there we go. We'll click on that. We'll follow this, of course. We'll read it through. I just went too far up. All right. Um, this is, of course, Genesis chapter 14, verse 17. Right? And when we read this, we'll go through it, of course. We'll get through here. We'll get down to meats. There we go. Or which is actually coming up with strong 87125. But what we are looking for, we're looking for search H7122. And as you can see, it gives us power A, strong H722. So, which is to encounter whether accidentally or in a hostile manner. So when we read, you know what I'm saying, Genesis 14 and 17, it was using this power A, which is strong 7122, which also has another form of power A. So if we were to click on here, it gives us 7135. Wawaha. Wawaha. Alright. The root for Wawaha is Kwara, which is cold. So a variant of that though. Alright. But according to what we have here in the Strong's 100 most common words, we're using 7122 to meet, not cold, okay? So that's another, you know what I'm saying, that's another one. We'll go a little bit deeper with general on, just to get, you know, further clarification on that. What? This is strong H 5265. Mama I. All right. So, so we also can do here, Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 6. Right? So it reads in the Assyrian, Waba na ya Yasha'ala Nama Iwa. That's the word that we're looking for. Nama Iwa. Maba Mabarath. Banaya. Ya'ikwa. Ya'ikwa na. Mawa. Mawasa. Mawasa. Raha. Sham. Math. Aharan. Wayakwa Bara. Sham. Wayaka Han. Ala I Zara. Banawa. Dakata Yawa. Alright. Hopefully you're paying attention, following along as you're reading the portion. That's the wa, that's the ba, that's the na, ya. Alright? Yasha'ala. This is the word right here. H5265. So, as we're reading this, Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 6, it says, and, of course, and that's where we get we know the root of this is bond, right? So, wa, so, and of course, them, which is the children. So, and the children of Israel, right? So Yasha'ala, this is Israel, And then they did a journey. The root word, as we can see, is Nama'ai. But in this verse, it's Nama'ai wa. So let's read that in the English. And the children of Israel took the journey from Merath of the children of Jacob to Mosera, and Aaron died, and there he was buried. And Eleazar, his son, ministered in the priest's office in his stead. So what should we be focused on? Just like the word prior that we were just at, right? We are focused on the most 100 common verbs. So Deuteronomy chapter 10:6 is the strong H5265, which is pertaining to Nama'ai, which is journey. So the children of Israel journeyed. Right? That's what happened to the children of Israel. Matter of fact, this would be perfect for that brother that stopped by earlier. He journeyed, you know what I'm saying, from Jamaica. He journeyed from Jamaica. And of course, for those, you know what I'm saying, who don't know the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, they won't understand that he would be a stranger. For two reasons. But one reason why he's a stranger is because he journeyed, you know what I'm saying, from his homeland to here. Like he's not, this isn't his land, this isn't, you know what I'm saying, his home. Right. This is a territory that he's traveling to. So in the scriptures, when it talks about Gentiles, that's sojourn, you know what I'm saying, amongst you, or travel amongst you, it's talking about like that brother, you know what I'm saying, coming from Jamaica. And the second part to that, where he would be a stranger or a Gentile, is he keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High? Wow. The brother, you know what I'm saying, was talking about Rastas and, you know, all other stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm familiar with it, you know. But the sad thing is he referenced him saying his heritage with Rastas.
That's how they think of it that way. They got a more connection over there with just Rasta thing.
Yeah, but that's due to the captivity, the enslavement. All right, so we got this one right here. This is the Strong's. This right here. All right. I'm a pot. Strong 622. I'm a pot. Let's check it. All right. So we're going to go Micah chapter 4, verse 6, right? By a wum, haha, wa, wa'ah, na'am, Yahweh, amapa'ah, hataza, sorry, hataza la I wahana, the ka, aqua, bataza'a, batazaha, wayashah, hara'ai, it's like hara'ai, yeah, all right. Which it says, in that day, saith the Lord, I will assemble her that halteth, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. You see that word right there? Gather. That word right there, which is to assemble. So, Strong 8622, which is assembled. If we were to look at this, this is, of course, this is the root for this word. If we look at the references, to gather, to receive, to remove, to gather in. These are the definitions of this word. So we know, is that? Micah chapter 4, verse 6. Just confirm that real quick. Yep. Micah 4 and 6. Which is to just to gather. In fact, let's see if we were to that was a little different because it's more of a phrase. Gather yourselves together. Nonetheless, all right. Nonetheless, as we're looking at this strong 622, I'm a pop, it's to gather. All right. So we're not using that in the sense of gather yourselves together. As far as in Zephaniah 2:1, that's a different phrase. But this is Micah chapter 4, verse 6. So we can use that as a reference point as, we speak to our brothers and sisters. So that's 4 more, you know what I'm saying, 4 more verbs or action words that we're able to use for the Hebrew. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, you have a list. You've been taking note of all these words that we've been going over. We've gone over some sentence structure, right? We've gone over some sentence structure, of course. Being able to identify. We've been able to identify things such as prepositions. We'll get a little deeper into suffix, but when you see the commonality of words that starts with "wa," that's "ain," and it has a different meaning at the end. So "wa" at the beginning, "wa" at the end. Those are 2 completely different meanings. They're not the same. All right. So we will transition to the class, to the part of the class which we could start at, but want to pick up from where we were at last time. If you are just joining the class, we're just going to go, or if this is your first class sitting in, we'll go over to give you a little bit more structure. Hopefully you took notes anyways. So first things first, you should have the alphabet. If you do not have the alphabet, reach out. All right. You can get us on Facebook. You can get us on YouTube. You can get us on through the Gmail, the chat. It's going to be Isupk Syracuse. All right. So let's go over this real quick. So these words should make some sense to you. This is all practice that we all need so that we can strengthen, you know what I'm saying, our Hebrew, of course, though. The more you write it, the more practice you got, of course, the easier it is. All right. All right. So, looking at this right here, this is the alphabet. All right. So the alphabet is read from right to left. So that was one of the first things that we went over. Read right to left. All right. If you've been in the classes, you should be familiar with. You should be familiar with it. So you should have ah, ma, ga, da, ah, wa. All right. Za, ka, ta, ya. There's a difference with an emphasis right here on the ka. It's that hard, you know what I'm saying? Whereas this is ka. It's a soft K. Also, one thing to understand and point out is that the ka, right? In the Syrian, it has the double. So this is the ka for a regular word. when it's at the end. So it's the last letter, the last character. So there's a couple times when we was going over the words, there was a ka in there, or there was a na, right? The ka and the na look similar. If you see how the ka is, it's similar to the da, but it has an elongated tail. All right. To make it easy to identify, this will only show itself at the end of a word. If you see it, so if you see something like this, using that specifically, why? Because we just went over it. All right, just to really emphasize that elongated tail. Something you should recognize that something's not right, because this is either a ka, right, which is going to cut the word right here, and then this is going to be la by itself. But you see how close together it is. You should know that that is either one of two things. That is a da, all right? So a dal, I have no idea what a dal is. I'd have to look it up, see if it's even a word. Or it should be like this. A cow. That is Strong's H 398. We just went over that. So you should recognize the difference, all right? So I use that specifically because we did just go over it. Hopefully it does not confuse you, of course. But it's to show the difference between these letters in the Assyrian at the end of the word versus during the word. Identify that there's a difference. And then, of course, la. Also, well, I'll give y'all a moment to go ahead and write this down. What we should see and we should get and understand here also there are 22 characters, all right? 22 characters in the Assyrian. Aslaki. I stand corrected. There are 22 characters in the ancient. In the Assyrian, there are 27 characters. So what that means is there are 5, right? There are 5 specifically that has 2 characters in the Assyrian. So this here is the ancient. It's like it, with the exception of this is the ancient, that's the ancient. Everything else here is all the ancient. All right? So ancient cross. This top line here is the Assyrian. So slightly, I stand correct. So not stand corrected. Let me just backtrack for a moment to put clarification. What I wrote here up top, and I should have did this in the same order. I'll do it with the rest of the alphabet. Right here. That's the A. That is this right here is the A in the Assyrian. This here is the ah in the ancient. This is the ba in the Assyrian. The ba in the ancient. The ga in the Assyrian. The ga in the ancient. The da in the Assyrian. The da in the ancient. The ha in the Assyrian. The ha in the ancient. The wa in the Assyrian. The wa in the ancient. The za in the Assyrian. Kind of looks like a T, right? It does has a slant to it. It does has a slant. You'll notice it as you're reading it. That's why, you know what I'm saying, I like to try to show the Blue Letter Bible as we're going over, you know, new words and adding them to your vocabulary. Because if you don't have it, or if you're not familiar with it, you won't recognize the difference between, you know, the da or the ka, right? Or you won't recognize the difference between the ha and the ka. You'll be like, oh, God. Nope. You won't notice the difference between the ma and the sa. All right? So this is the ka. Oh, it's like ka in the Syrian, ka in the ancient. It's like a ladder. This is the ta in the ancient. This is the ta in the Assyrian. This is the ta in the Assyrian. This is the ta in the ancient. This is the ya in the Assyrian. The ya in the ancient. Now, I'll cover this up. This here, this is the ka in the Assyrian. Anytime it is in the middle of a word. Okay? So, a ka. Actually, that's the wrong ka. That's the let me think of a word. Nakaha, right? The na. Oh, wait, there you go. I already gave it to you. A cow, right? Versus all right. So difference. Strong's 398. Akala. Akal. Akala. Strong 7993. Shalak. Shalaka. Shalak. Shalaka. So this ka here is at the end of a word. So it is not the same as the ka that is in the middle of a word. I gave you two different words, strong 7993, strong 398 count. The one is to eat, right? To eat. Some of y'all just love to eat, right? And then, of course, you have those who love to throw out. Those that are wasteful or whatnot. There's those that will throw out. Gave y'all a bonus one tonight. Oh, sloppy. That's all. All right. Of course, throw out is not one word, it's two separate words, so just want to make sure it's on the board. Boom. Throw out. So make sure y'all understand the difference between the ka, you know what I'm saying, and the Syrian. And then, of course, we have the ka and the ancient. You have the la, which we use twice, back to back. The la, this is the la in the Syrian. This is the la in the ancient, which is just the character looks like just the L. All right. So what I'm gonna do, you know what I'm saying, to go over the rest of the alphabet real quick, I am going to so slacking, you know what I'm saying, because we should always basically, I mean, we could always like start the class off with a review just to bring our mind back to where it should be. We finished off that lot, right? Right. Perfect. So that brings us right to All right. So this is what I did differently this time. I just wrote the ancient on the board. I didn't write the. I wrote the Slack. I wrote the Assyrian on the board, not the ancient. All right. So the first thing to get, understand here, this is the Ma. The Ma has two characters for just the Ma in regards to the Assyrian. All right. So I told you there are 27 characters overall for the Assyrian, and there's 22 characters in regards to the ancient. So if we're looking at the board and we follow through, right now the Ma this is what you should have. And I want to make it distinctive. So, boom, boom, boom. This is the ancient. The blue is going to be the ancient. So the Na, same thing. The Na. The Sa. The I. Pa. The Taza. Kra. Ra. Sha and Tha. All right. So if we write this, finish it off, we should have Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Taza. Whoa, it's a lot. I was merging letters together, words together. The Qua, the Ra, the Sha, the Tha. This is what you should have. You should take this down, put it into your notes. Manasa, I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, and Tha. All right. So as we're going over the alphabet, of course, we see that the Assyrian, the Ma, has two forms. All right, two forms. There's the Ma, which is in the middle of a word, so or at the beginning of the word. It doesn't. There's no difference between that Ma, right? Like Mataza A. Mataza A is going to use the very top. So So that's the ma. I almost did it, but Mataza. All right. So Mataza A. So the ma is a little difficult for me to draw. It's a difficult character for me. Just know that there's an opening at the base. So Mataza A. Man, I just gave you another one, didn't I? That I did. It's a lie. Giving out too many words. We'll go over it later. But Ma Taza Mataza. Alright. So that's that Mataza right there. Versus well, one. Is it? So yeah. So kwa wa ma kwa. So the significance, distinction, right? There's a gap. And this my here is closed. So they're both supposed to have that little ma and ma. One is at the beginning of the word, one is at the end of the word. So learn this, understand it. Fly. In other words, it's like alahayim, right? Alahayim. They take different meanings, of course. Yeah. So the first word is like the first word was using this top one, the second word was using this bottom one because it's at the end of the word. All right. Boom. This should be clear. Two different words have some of the same letters, same characters, like. So this not here is at the beginning of the word. So nakaha, nakaha. This right here. So we use that. It's at the beginning of the word. Even if it was even if it was almost did it. You know what? That works. That works slightly. We'll do it over here. We got more space, right? Yeah. Even if it's this, right? Panaha. So the na is at the beginning, na in the middle, the na at the end. So versus all right, I got this a little low. In fact, I could probably just write it above. So all right, so I wanted to make sure that was highlighted so that you understood that there is the start of the word, there is the na at the end of the word, there's the na in the middle of the word. You use the correct character for the correct at the most appropriate time. So if you're saying nakaha versus saying kawan, and then of course we have hanaha. So there is a appropriate time for each word or character for depending on where it is in the word. The start, the middle, or the end. Use the most appropriate. And this is how this should be done. In fact, so my transition on this right here, because All right? We use the same word, but the side of the eye, with the pa. This is right here in the beginning, the middle. This is for the end. So we have that to start. This is the middle. This is the ancient. This is the Assyrian. Na, pa, la. Pa. That's not the same as Natalia, by the way, which is one of the tribes, but all right. So at the end of the word, at the there we go. At the end of the word. So rada pa, rada pa, rada pa. So you got the ra, you got the da, you got the pa. The pa at the end takes this format. It's not the same as if it's at the start. It's not the same as if it's in the middle. This is what it's like at the end of the word. We got one more. So, this should be these words. These characters. They should start to become familiar. So like you got the taza, you got the wa, you got the ha. This is the taza. Taza at the start of a word. So once again, Taza at the start, Taza in the middle. Even though there's two for the Syrian, we use this for the start and the middle. In regards to the end, all right, hopefully they're not confused. All right, so this is Taza at the end. So we have Kwa, Ba, Taza. Kwa, Ba, Taza. All right, Kwa, Ba, Taza. At the end of the word, this is the form it takes. And of course, we go through the rest of the alphabet. We got the Kwa, we got the Ra, we got the Sha, we got the Tha. All right. So make sure that you guys take notes for all this. In fact, what we'll do is we'll use these three for next week. Start off through the class with these words next week. So if you do not have 100 most common words, let me know. We'll go over that as well too. But isupk.syracuse.com. Email isupk.syracuse.com so that you can get that information. All right. Make sure you guys are paying your tithes, of course, though. Make sure y'all make arrangements for the cookout next week. All right. Cookout next week. That, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Zar Kayel.
Security announcements. We are the ISUPK, start out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the leadership of Commanding General Yohana. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means tenth in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations.
September 6th.
September the 6th.
Memorial blowing the trumpet.
Memorial blowing the trumpet. So you can find that in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, 24th to 25th verse. And this is the first day of the 7th month, which is September the 6th this year. Anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, scarf. We're going to stand and give a courtesy salute to the sister. To the teachers. Salah here. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah.
We're going to turn and give a courtesy salute to the sister, Sar. Amazon, Shabbat, Amazon, Barak,
Yahweh Shemar Lathav B'Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yazim Matai, class dismissed.